Welcome back to another video here on living in Colorado Springs. We get clients to move from all over the country, and what I've learned over the years is there are some things that you definitely want to do when you're moving from out of state and some things you definitely don't want to do. So we're going to jump right into that today. The number one this is going to take precedence over all the others. You want to make sure you do your own research before you move here. I know that seems so obvious, but you'd be surprised. People make moves all over the country all the time without doing their own research. And listen, I'm all for some spontaneity in life, but if you're moving here with the idea of purchasing a home, settling down, making this a place you're going to stay, you definitely want to do your own research. Imagine moving here from in Arkansas or Missouri or something like that that has a little bit lower cost of living. It's your first time joining the $1 Million Club, right? And so you're like, man, I have $1 million to purchase a home now. And you don't realize until it is that you get here that, man, $1 million doesn't get me as much as it does in some of those lower cost of living places, right? We've had that happen before with clients that have moved out here, and it's kind of heartbreaking to see, right? Man, imagine moving here too, and like, you know, your expectation of this place, because you've heard from anybody and everybody that this place is amazing and you love it, or you'll love it, but you move here and you find out like this place is just not for me, right? So you definitely want to do your own research, and you want to do that from anything from crime statistics to schools to cost of living, the type of housing that's going to be available to you, all of that sort of stuff. And we're going to delve into some more of those aspects here, getting into our other do's and don'ts. The number two thing that you want to make sure that you do for sure is make sure that you assess your current job situation or your job prospects, right? Are you moving here and planning to work remote? Are you planning to start a new job here, right? I mean, part of our job as realtors here in the city is to help make that moving process a little bit less stressful for you. But here's the thing, moving is going to be stressful no matter what. And you definitely don't want that added stress of not knowing what your job situation is going to be. I had a client who moved here and they were pretty sure everything was going to be okay working remotely, but they weren't 100% sure, right? Well, and here's the thing, any lender is gonna have to check your employment status multiple times throughout a purchase if you plan on purchasing a home when you get here. And you don't wanna have that added stress of wondering, am I gonna be able to get that home once I get here, right? So you definitely wanna assess your current job situation and try to start that process as early as possible so you can just take that stress out of the equation. Number three thing that you should definitely do is try to take a trip out here in person. If you know you're going to be moving here and you have the spare time available, you definitely want to try to take a trip. Sorry about the sun right now just blaring into my eyes, but I didn't want you guys to be staring at camera just through my sunglasses. So back to taking a trip. You definitely want to take a trip out here. And what you want to do while you're out here is, number one, enjoy this amazing and gorgeous space out here, right? Today we're at Red Rocks open space. So many trails and just beautiful views out here, and that exists all over the city. So you definitely want to check that out. Check out the eating and dining scene, like, you know, some more of those leisurely activities, but also you definitely want to do a solid bit of just driving around and taking a look, boots on the ground in person at the different communities and neighborhoods that are going to be available to you, right? It's just going to help so much with familiarizing yourself with the city, familiarizing yourself with the traffic patterns, where it is that you might be working, right? You definitely want to take that trip out here and just take some time to get to feel the place, see the place, put boots on the ground, and see if it's going to be a good fit for you. All right, we've got a great idea of some of the things that you should do before you make the move across country out here, but what about some of the things that you should not do? Well, the first thing I would recommend not doing is winging it. You definitely don't want to wing it. And I know, again, it's obvious, I shouldn't have to say that. I'm all for spontaneity, but you don't want to wing it on your move out here. You want to have a plan in place. What's your timeline going to look like? Once it is that you move out here, where are you going to be living? Are you going to be in a short-term rental? Are you going to be in a longer-term rental? Are you planning on purchasing before it is that you get here? Have you talked to local professionals yet if you're considering a purchase, right? You definitely want to reach out to us. We get people calling, emailing, texting all the time asking this question. And one of the first things that we want to do is, if you are considering a purchase, hook you up with a great lender, right? And send you a list of those recommendations so that you know what your budget looks like before you get here and know what you can buy, so we can start breaking down the areas that you might want to live in, so on and so forth. There's a lot that goes into it, but I promise you, you don't want to wing it. The next thing you really don't want to do is take too long to handle the moving process, right? This kind of goes in line with having a plan and figuring out what you're gonna do for getting out here, but you don't wanna wait too long to schedule some movers, right? And there's a couple of different ways that you could go with that. You could obviously move yourself, right? Time, energy, effort, it's a lot to do that sometimes. And so really kind of your other two options are going to be hiring a full-on moving company to move things all the way out, put them in their own trailer, and then move things all the way out to Colorado, take them out of the trailer, put them into the house. Or you might want to go with the pods kind of storage option, right? I've had clients do both, and there's pros and cons to both. The pod storage option, you know that however you pack something, it's mostly going to be that way when you get to where you're going. The moving company, you know, the con with that is that moving companies tend to break stuff sometimes, right? We've had that happen to a lot of clients, but also it's a fully done for you situation. In either case, I would highly recommend not waiting too long to get those scheduled. You want to be scheduling those a month or more out, because moving companies are just packed up right now. It's an expensive thing, and if you botch that part of your move, it's going to make everything more stressful. All right, the last and final thing you really don't want to do is take too long to get schools figured out, right? So every year around that second week of August, school is starting here. And if you're not in on time, again, that can just add a ton of stress. But something a lot of people may or may not know is that you're gonna need an address within that district to attend the schools within that district, right? So you definitely don't wanna take too long with the whole process overall, and you don't wanna take too long figuring out the whole school process, because it can just be a disaster at the end of the day. Couple of great resources for you on that. Number one, I just did a video a couple of weeks ago that you can check out on everything you need to know about schools in the area, but a couple other research points that you can use: niche.com, greatschools.com. You can use the state education website to just help you do a little bit more research on what schools that you might want your kiddos to attend, what programs those schools might offer, how those schools are ranked, the whole works, right? So again, last thing, don't wait too long to figure out schools. One more bonus on the do side, give us a call. We have clients calling, texting, emailing us all the time. We know the city in and out, and we're gonna be able to help you make that move from across the country. See you on the next one.